Would you like to do the honors?
We do have a guest. This is a friend of the show. I met him online on Instagram. I started following his videos because I loved his wrestling videos and his wrestling insight. And he's got a really cool podcast. If you enjoy wrestling, it's our good friend, the Wrestling Classic, Justin Dhillon.
There he is, the Wrestling Classic. Get him all set. I gotta say though,
he changed his flight just so he could hang out with us.
Yes, he did.
And then I left town.
Then Jen left town. He's like, oh, he's gonna be on the show? Well, fuck that.
Yeah.
Go to Chicago.
Push my flight a little bit further so I can stay there for this.
Well, I want to say first off, congratulations to you.
Thank you.
The Wrestling Classic going to be on
Dash Radio.
Congratulations,
nice.
That's fantastic.
We got the show on after all this time, like 3 podcasts later.
Yeah, well, you
got the show on.
You guys have gotten one hell of a following. What's the Instagram account called?
It's the Wrestling Classic on Instagram and TWC Worldwide on Twitter, but I don't really use Twitter that much. Try not to. It's kind of negative on there, but
it's not a good place.
No,
it can be ugly, to say the least.
It's just like
gotta call you out though, Justin. You're wearing your merch.
Always,
you're wearing your own merch.
You gotta be bold to win the gold, and you gotta wear your own merch so people know.
Only
what you're
pro wrestlers
about.
and Iron Maiden can wear their own.
You work in the wrestling industry. Everyone's wearing their own merch. It's almost like you have to.
But you're from Canada, and you're sitting here rocking a King's hat, an old school King's hat.
Okay, first thing, old school, because from Canada, huge hockey fans, old school Kings fan for sure. Gretzky, that whole crew.
Yeah.
Went to a Kings game the other day, and I was like, if I'm gonna buy a Kings hat, it has to be the old logo.
Yeah, I gotta go Gretzky, Luke Robitaille.
That's the time. That's the period. I have a Gretzky jersey that will match his hat very nicely when I go home. Yeah.
Where in Canada you live?
Vancouver.
Vancouver.
Yeah. So not really a big Canucks fan after 2011.
Yeah,
kind of disappointed me a bit.
Are you not getting excited for the Kraken?
Kind of. Is that the name they're going with?
Isn't it? Didn't they pick the Kraken?
Did they choose the Kraken?
I thought the hockey team picked the Kraken.
I wanted it to be salmon.
I hope it's not something like salmon.
Seattle salmon and a pink jersey would be amazing.
Ugh.
Would it though?
Kraken is way better.
I like Kraken. The Seattle Kraken.
No one's buying salmon merch.
I would. I'd be all in.
Oh, gross.
I don't think so.
Love ugly hockey uniforms.
So we haven't really been talking about too much wrestling lately, but it is a big week in the wrestling world.
No, definitely.
What can we say? You have yesterday the Blood Money. No, sorry, I keep doing this wrong. I keep getting this wrong. Super Showdown.
It was paid for with blood money.
Ah, that's why I keep fucking that up.
That's why you keep screwing.
Yeah, that's why Jen keeps fucking it. We keep fucking that up, Jen. What's with us?
I mean, you guys are just stupid. That's all.
Well, you got that, and of course, this weekend you have AEW's Revolution pay-per-view. I don't know. In the wrestling world, seems a little bit on fire at the moment because yesterday's Super Showdown, even though it is one of their biannual, they have 2 a year.
There's too many pay-per-views, and these Saudi shows don't help, man.
Oh my god!
Like, do you remember when it would be like the Rumble, then maybe like a No Way Out or something, then WrestleMania? Because you could focus on one thing.
I remember the glory days when it was 4 a year.
Though I wasn't alive for most of that, but I heard they were great, man.
Oh, it was amazing.
From what I knew, they seemed like, and I actually like that more. Like, personally, as a wrestling fan, I'm more of a storyline, character-driven guy. Like, I love a great wrestling match as much as the next guy. But you see a great wrestling match, a couple of weeks go by. If it didn't come with a story, or if I didn't care about the characters, I'll probably forget about the match. Yeah. And the thing that was great about that is they had time to build those. Oh,
they built it for months.
Yeah,
like you would build from WrestleMania all the way to SummerSlam.
No, exactly. Now it just kind of feels like I haven't really been watching other Raws and SmackDown while I've been in California, but for what I have watched, like, they're booking like 3 shows at once, and it's like, what are you supposed to pay attention to? What are you supposed to get excited for?
It's almost oversaturating the market.
Yeah.
And where like AEW, I think, is getting a little more traction because it's not oversaturating. They have 1 show weekly.
Yeah, and this is their first pay-per-view of the year?
This year, yeah, Revolution.
And it seems like it's been a while since the last one, and that's kind of nice.
Does. Yeah, it's kind of refreshing.
It makes it an event.
Yeah,
not just now. It's just another TV show they have this month.
Yeah. But there is something about AEW that is driving me nuts. Where some of
that microphone sucks, by the way.
Yeah,
does it? Okay,
yeah, don't worry about that.
I'm like, I thought it was me. I'm like, damn,
no,
that clumsy.
No. But there's something about AEW that is, on the flip side, driving me a little crazy, and it's that they're trying to move shit along too fast for what they're doing. So they're doing a lot of long-term booking. Like this whole Cody and MJF thing has been long-term booked out, a lot going on in between to get this payoff.
Yeah.
All right, on the flip side, you did this whole thing between Pac and Kenny Omega.
Yeah.
Long-term booking, and then you just ended it to open a Dynamite.
Is it over now? Was that 30
I guess, yeah. They did it last week. The rubber match is over, and now Pac's onto a feud with Orange Cassidy.
Yeah.
And Kenny's a tag team champion. Like, what the fuck is going on?
That part's a little confusing. That is really confusing because, like, I love Pac's probably my favorite. It's a Pac or Pac. What do you guys go with?
I'd go with Pac.
Okay, we'll go with Pac then. But I say Pac. I don't know, but maybe it's a Canadian thing. But Pac is Pac's sweet. Like, he's probably one of my favorite guys on that show. Anytime he's on there, whether he's just cutting a promo or he's wrestling or not. It is kind of confusing that Kenny's the tag champ, and like even in the same show, they did a 30-minute Iron Man match, and then they had a pre-taped interview with him later about something completely different.
Yeah.
And it's like, where are his priorities then? Like,
I don't know. It's just like I can't follow that. I'm having troubles following because like they've opened too many threads, and now it's making me not care.
Yeah, it would be nice if more feuds are like the Cody and MJF one. I think is the ideal example of what a good build-up in a feud has been so far. They've kept it true to each other. There hasn't been too much stuff that's making them go sideways or make you think that there isn't. They did, however, I think, spent way too many weeks of those two being in the same place and never interacting with each other, which made you feel kind of like, what the hell's going on here? But otherwise, I think the booking over there is questionable.
I've almost I've even remotely liked that, the tease and the tease and the tease, because it reminded me of like 97 Sting Hogan type shit.
Oh no, for sure.
Sting had to keep going through all the it's like a Mortal Kombat game. You had to go through all of them until you got to the final boss.
That's the hero's journey.
Yeah.
You have to go through the trials and finally get. I mean, that's the classic hero's journey.
And I love that. And I love that that's what they're doing with that. Granted, I think there was some stumbling along the way. The whipping thing I could have done without.
Yeah.
Thought that was a kind of a tough look. But everything else I thought was pretty well done, except for the things that kept making MJF look goofy. The throwing him into the pool thing. I'm like, keep him a bastard.
I knew somebody had to go in that pool because I was like, when I used to watch the Spring Break episodes of Nitro when I was a kid, I always wanted someone to go
Somebody's
in the pool.
got to go in the pool.
Somebody probably shouldn't have been MJF.
No, it should have been somebody else.
Yeah, but somebody had to go in there regardless.
I know, but but when you take a guy who you're kind of making your biggest heel right now in the storyline and you make him look stupid, I felt like that kind of watered it down a bit.
And how long is Moxley keeping that eye patch on? Is that
I don't know.
Like, I like that the fact that he kept it on for a bit. But
how long did Jake the Snake not have any color in his eye when he got sprayed with arrogance?
Remember. they had a blindfold match at WrestleMania.
I know, but he had a completely white eyeball for like 2 months, I think, after he got sprayed with arrogance.
But like, I feel like it hasn't already been like 2 months that he's had the eye patch on.
Yeah, he's about due to get his eye back.
Like, we're wrestling fans. No one's gonna unless you're like one of those wrestling fans on Twitter, like I was mentioning before. Like, no one's really gonna research how long you're supposed to keep an eye patch on after you get stabbed in the eye. It's wrestling, so I think he could take it off soon.
I mean, Iron Mike Sharp had a cast on for.
He should do it. He should do it mid-match. He should
Cowboy
do it,
Bob Orton style.
He should do it mid-match. It should be part of their match.
Like, he just takes it off.
He takes it off.
He's like, I'm better now.
Yeah. He's got
it.
2 eyes. Oh my god.
He needs it.
How's he gonna beat
Jericho's due.
He can see
and
Jericho.
Jericho would sell the living hell out of that for sure.
Yes, he would.
Like, oh my god, he can see.
He's got depth perception now.
No, 100%. He should take it out mid-match. That'd be awesome. It's been on forever.
Yeah. On the flip side, WWE's show yesterday.
I really want to talk about the Goldberg thing. I'm excited about this.
Man,
Are you excited for this or about what happened?
I honestly, like, I've been running this page for way too long that I've become really neutral to a lot of things. So I get excited about how people react to things now, which gets me. Like, I get excited to post something and see the comment section, and like, it's fun, man. It's so funny.
Well, you had yesterday in Saudi Arabia. Arguably, okay, so here was the big matches. You had the big match between Ricochet and Brock Lesnar. I think I can at least justify destroying Ricochet. At least a part of me can, because you're trying to really build to WrestleMania for McIntyre. So you destroy Ricochet. Okay, I'd rather Ricochet get something in.
He tried for a drop kick.
Brock has destroyed before.
Yes, so
it's not like
it's nothing new. It's not surprising.
Nothing new.
Yeah.
So whatever. Okay, fine. That I'll move past that and not care. The gauntlet match, the Undertaker just coming out of nowhere for no reason, and then pinning AJ Styles after one poorly executed chokeslam. Okay, I'm gonna let that go because no matter what, the Mania match between the two of them. AJ Styles will dance so much around Undertaker that it'll be the best match Undertaker's had in nearly a decade.
No, for sure. I'm not going to disagree with that.
So I will let that go.
I will say, though, wasn't it, like, I get it. The trophy's not really prestigious or anything.
Yeah, it looked like the trophy from the aggro crag.
But they could have just let AJ win the trophy and then had Taker still come out, and it just made no sense that a guy that wasn't even booked for the match won the trophy. But
Nothing makes sense.
they like doing that in Saudi Arabia. It happened with Shane, now it happened
Yeah.
with Taker, so it is what it is.
Okay, then here's what everybody's up in arms about, and they are not wrong. Bill Goldberg, 53 years old, still in amazing shape.
And let's remember the last match he had.
Was
at
not
Blood Money.
good, which was also in Saudi Arabia.
Yes.
No,
He
it
redeemed
wasn't.
himself with Ziggler.
That's
did-
right,
he-
Ziggler.
they
But
did
the
the
last
Ziggler
match
thing
he
after.
did in Saudi
With Taker,
Arabia.
yeah.
With Taker.
And I will say, I loved the Ziegler thing because at least it was fun.
Yeah.
But the Taker match, that was a disaster. I would be as bold to say that in retrospect on how things have played out, this is a bigger disaster.
No, I agree. I was not a fan of it at all. And it's not like there's obviously those people that are like, oh, the Fiend's buried, he's done, oh, they killed it. Like, not at all. Like, he'll survive. Personally, I don't think the Fiend should have ever won the title in the first place. Or been in a title feud. He didn't need to be the Universal Champion, and maybe they needed to find a way to get it off him, and Goldberg was their choice for some reason. But
So, yeah, in case you guys don't know, okay, so the Fiend is an alter ego of a character named Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt used to be a cult leader. And during his time as a cult leader, he was this big, scary cult leader that never won any feud he was ever in.
had so many goals, never succeeded.
Never succeeded.
Ever.
And they always put him on the top of the thing. He had a huge feud with Roman Reigns. Didn't win that. Had a huge feud with John Cena. That could have made him. Didn't win that. Undertaker feud. Didn't win that.
That's the biggest one he should have won.
Yeah.
Another Undertaker feud. And with Kane. Also didn't win that. Never fucking won. His character got so stale that he went away for like 6 months, and he came back with a brand new character that was so good. And what he started to doing, this is what I hoped he was going to do. He started, because WWE does terrible long-term booking. It's one of the things they're terrible at.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, they started kind of doing it without them realizing it, and they started basically having the Fiend take out all the people that wronged Bray Wyatt.
Yeah, which is great.
Which is such a good fucking story. Everyone that's ever wronged Bray Wyatt, the Fiend kills.
Yeah.
And it's an unkillable creature that the Fiend is. Well, he lost in 3 minutes yesterday.
Against Goldberg. And, there's that theory. There's that theory that, like, okay, well, Goldberg's never wronged him, so he didn't have that same thing, but now he did, so now maybe the Fiend can come back from at some point.
But he didn't. I would have liked it more if Goldberg beat Bray Wyatt, not the Fiend.
No, I agree. I think that would have been great, too, but I don't know why Goldberg. Does anybody want Goldberg versus Roman Reigns? Roman Reigns himself said he'd rather face.
Yeah, he said he wanted the future. He wanted to deal with the future.
Yeah, rather than.
I think the reason they did it is because Goldberg's segments on SmackDown spiked the ratings a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's not enough of a rating spike for me to be like, yeah.
But it's WrestleMania, and it's building towards WrestleMania, right? I mean,
I think there's
Goldberg
a bigger
or WrestleMania.
Well, one, it wasn't a good match. Two, it
The
killed.
jackhammer was brutal.
That was not good.
Yeah.
He's got to come up with different. He just should start ending people with the spear. At least
Yeah,
you
he
can
should.
sell it.
It's not his fault.
At
It's
least you
it's
can
not the
sell it.
same Goldberg. And
No.
Bray's a big dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at it like, dude, WWE plays so hard on nostalgia.
Mm-hmm.
The way they're going right now, they're going to run out of nostalgia because their nostalgia acts are killing their current acts. So what are we going to be in nostalgia for in 10 years?
The fact that they have to keep bringing people back to get people to tune into WrestleMania or even SmackDown is telling you how there's really no stars today.
Yeah.
And I had this conversation with you a couple of days ago where I said the biggest thing with me watching WWE these days is that nobody feels important. Like, I don't feel like I'm missing anything if I miss tuning in. Like, I used to miss, like, I'm going to miss what Stone Cold's going to do. I'm going to miss what Triple H is going to do. I don't feel that about anything right now.
But on the flip
Let's talk about the other big match on the show. It was Roman Reigns versus Baron Corbin in the cage. Nobody cares about it.
I didn't even know it happened.
See, and that was like one of the biggest feuds on SmackDown for the last 3-4 months.
Brutal.
But it's like the Fiend had Bray Wyatt just generally since he had the feud with the Undertaker back in 2015 or whatever it was, had the potential to be like the next big face of fear or whatever it was, but he couldn't beat the Undertaker. Mm-hmm. So if these young guys can't beat the old guys, there's gonna be a young fan base that's gonna think these old guys were like untouchable.
Well,
What
I mean,
about when with Rollins when the fans were screaming AEW?
When the fans turned on him because
Yeah.
of the Fiend.
Yeah.
So that's the only smart thing about this is if they
Yeah.
really want someone, if they really want to make Roman Reigns seem like the super baby face,
Yeah.
you put him against someone they're going to boo, and that's going to be whoever beat the Fiend.
Right.
so I guess are they going to actually boo Goldberg? Do you really think they will?
I don't know.
I'm having trouble believing that they
I
would.
feel like they could start booing him. I think a lot of people feel the same way. Macaulay Culkin said he's canceled his trip to Tampa.
That is 100% true. And Goldberg responded. This is true, Ann. So yesterday, Macaulay Culkin, after this horrible match happened, he tweeted out, "Just canceled my tickets to Tampa."
So
And Bill Goldberg responded to him. He said, "Sorry to hear that, dork.
yeah,
How dare you go after Kevin McAllister like that?"
he's gonna be home alone watching WrestleMania now.
But on
That's the cheesy dad joke of the day.
Nailed it, though.
Thank you.
Nailed it.
That's the type of humor we embrace on this show.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome.
But on the flip side, you mentioned that no one in WWE, nothing feels all that important because of how it's being done. And they're almost like oversaturating their own market.
Yeah.
Where that's the good thing I think about AEW. AEW, even though some of the things I don't love. I think certain wrestlers who are used to being very popular in indies are getting a little exposed.
Yeah.
I think their women's division is a complete mess at the moment.
The worst right now.
But there are other stories that are great, like really great and compelling stuff.
And they've built some characters like I've known about Darby Allin for years now. I've seen him live in Seattle, which is like a 2-hour drive from me, a bunch of times. Mm-hmm. He's always been cool, but I've never like cared for the Darby Allin character and knew what it was until AEW. So like there are some things that they've done really well, such as that. But,
And the internet sensation that is Orange Cassidy.
yeah,
A thing that should not work, period. But every time he shows up on screen, the crowd goes insane.
and you know what? They've done a really good job of listening to the crowd go insane from him and put him in a position where that they know he's valuable.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's guys that were super popular in the independents, who I'm a huge fan of and stuff too, that really haven't they haven't connected with the fans through AEW. I mean, that's someone like Joey Janela.
Mm-hmm.
He was like he does his own event every year at WrestleMania. Joey Janela Spring Break. It's always sold out. A lot of people love him. He's a super cool dude. But like as an AEW superstar, I really don't have an opinion on him.
I got nothing.
Yeah,
I feel like they have someone like Jimmy Havoc that they've done nothing with.
but is he someone that you can only do so much with?
Yeah, but I feel like he's compelling and interesting enough that you could definitely do something with him. Something.
Because a lot of these guys, like and I don't know, I could be wrong, guys. Like I'm just a fan, just like all of you. But a lot of these guys, most of the stuff I've seen them have been like that deathmatch stuff or like that hardcore stuff. So when you put them in a regular match, can they deliver? I don't know.
True, and plus you have the limitations of cable TV in America.
Yeah.
But Jen, we brought up Orange Cassidy, and I know some people listening might not be a wrestling fan. I strongly suggest you guys Google Orange Cassidy. This guy is hilarious. How would you
probably watched a video of Orange Cassidy and you don't even know it?
Yeah, he is. How would you describe? I heard someone once describe him as a cool human sloth.
That's a pretty good analogy. With Orange Cassidy, and this is honestly how they're hyping his match against Pac that's going to be on the pay-per-view tomorrow. Pac being an amazing wrestler. I don't think he's really he hasn't gotten the attention that he deserves at AEW yet, but I feel like that's coming. And he's ready to murder just about everyone on the roster at this point. But Orange Cassidy is a guy that you would see walking around Williamsburg in Brooklyn. Like, that is straight up what he is.
Like, he's rocking a Canadian tuxedo.
Yeah.
Jeans, jean jacket, jean everything, white t-shirt and sunglasses.
Specifically
hands in his
aviators.
Pockets,
Yeah.
and he just doesn't care. He doesn't care about anything.
I also think this Saturday, there's pay-per-views on Saturday, we're going to see that side of Orange Cassidy that a lot of people have only seen on AEW, have never seen yet. Mm-hmm. And I think Pac's a perfect guy to do that against because Pac is such a serious person, like his character-wise. And Orange Cassidy's going to do some stuff that I think we're gonna he's underestimating him, and we're gonna see a side of him we haven't seen yet, which is cool.
Well, according to Best Friends, he's actually going to try.
Yeah, he's going to try.
That was the exact words that were used.
Orange Cassidy is going to try.
That was the exact hype that this match is.
Yeah, that was the interview that was given, that he's actually going to try. And the fans chanted he's going to try, and that tells you how over he is. So I'm excited to see it, and then Pac's the best guy to do it. Pac's facial expressions, the way he's going to react to stuff, is going to be great.
But so I know that you're not a wrestling fan, Ann. So this is as much for you as it is for listeners that don't know who Orange Cassidy is. He literally will wrestle with his hands in his pockets.
Mm-hmm.
And he just can't be bothered to do anything.
He will throw his entire body from the ring with his hands in his pocket.
He's known for moving slow, being very laid back and chill. Does a thumbs up like this for some reason.
He can't even be bothered to lift
That's
his thumb all the way up.
His thumbs up is at half mast.
Yeah.
It's actually hilarious. If I showed you some stuff, you would look at me and like, I can't. One, that's funny. Two, I can't believe you guys watch this shit.
But that's what makes wrestling great. It's a little bit of everything, and he's gonna bring some stuff out there,
What got you into wrestling at a young
Me?
age? Yeah. Is it just because you're Canadian?
What was the era you got into wrestling?
Okay, so
for me, I was Hulk Hogan rock and wrestling.
Okay,
That's
so
when
the situation was I've been watching it for as long as I know, because my older brother watched it. My older brother's 10 years older than me, so he was a Hulkamaniac. He was born in 1981. He was a Hulkamaniac. He had all the LGN toys. I had all the magazines. I had VHS tapes recorded of, challenges and primetime wrestlings and all that stuff. And Monday Night Raw is from 93 to 96 on tape. He's not a fan no more, but he was a mega fan. It's his fault. He hates us sometimes because he's like, it's my fault. But it's because of him that I got into, I think the first thing I actually remember seeing live, there's two things I always say. And I don't know if you guys, one I think you'll remember for sure, but the other one was kind of less memorable. But one was, I remember seeing Shawn versus Razor in a ladder match. I can't tell you if it was Mania or SummerSlam, but one of those, I remember peeking in the room. My brother and all his friends were watching, and I'm like, yo, this is so cool.
Yeah.
The second thing I vividly remember, and I always say 1996 is the year I first remember actually watching live on television, but it was a free-for-all before SummerSlam 96. It was Yokozuna versus Stone Cold, and Yoko went for a bonsai drop, and this time he was really big, and the ropes broke. And that's like my first memory, but I think that would be the period when I first started watching live. But like I said, I always had all these tapes and stuff. Like, we also used to do the whole rent a video from Blockbuster, had the two VCRs, record onto your own tape, totally illegal. But but I had all the WrestleManias because of that, all the SummerSlams and stuff, and I've just been hooked ever since. There was, I do think, and I'll ask you guys this question, I do think, because and I ask this question on my show all the time, the TWC show, which you can listen on Dash Radio. But has there ever been a time you've kind of fallen out of wrestling? Because I know it's definitely happened to me.
It's happened to me a couple of times.
I'm constantly falling in and out of it.
I'm currently falling out of it as we speak.
Okay.
The times that I really fell out, Ruthless Aggression era, I started falling out.
Yeah.
And then I didn't get back into it until CM Punk's pipe bomb.
See, that's the most cliche answer, but that's my answer too.
It's just the truth. I got out of it, and that when I saw that promo, I'm like, who the hell is CM Punk? And then I went and watched the promo, and I'm like, I got to go back and see what the hell's been going on. And then I watched back for months. I watched back months of stuff. I'm like, this is great shit. Like, this guy is legit. I will watch because of this guy.
He brought a lot of people back, and I think sometimes because he's been gone for so long, and he claims he wasn't coming back, did the UFC thing, now he's doing the back, he just won't come back. A lot of people are kind of bitter towards him, but you got to give credit where credit's due. Like, I kind of knew CM Punk from Ring of Honor and stuff before, and I did watch Raw all the time. It was just something I did, but from 2000 2011, I didn't really watch SmackDown. I wasn't watching all the pay-per-views. I was kind of out of it. The moment they put SmackDown on Fridays back then, I was in high school, I was out, I wasn't staying home to watch SmackDown, but that's when I fell out of it. But it was 2011, it was the exact same thing. It was the pipe bomb, and had everybody talking. All those fans that kind of stopped watching after the Attitude Era, they were also like, hey, what's this? Is this guy for real? The guy saying stuff about Vince McMahon dying and whatnot, that's going to get people's attention. And I think that's I think a lot of people fell out, but that's a lot of.
But the stuff even leading up to the pipe bomb, the whole Nexus, where he took over Nexus and stuff like that, that was all great stuff. I was watching.
I was watching Raw, so I saw that, but I never watched the rest of the
I'd
stuff.
always been in since rock and wrestling. I dropped out a little bit in the early 90s.
Yeah.
But I was back in from the Attitude Era all the way up until, honestly, I was in all the way up until the Saudi Arabia match between Taker and Goldberg. I was like, I'm done.
That got him out.
Are you out now?
I have not been back since that match. I canceled my subscription. I was like, fuck this. I can't.
You know what? Sometimes I wonder, like, if I didn't run the page, would I stop watching at some point? Because I think I enjoy the more what I get to do, engaging with the fans and hearing people's opinions and messing with them and stuff that I enjoy now. That like I can never not watch.
I'll check in every once in a while, but like today, I just saw on Twitter the Goldberg thing. I was like, what happened with Goldberg last night?
Well, based on
I just don't. I like after that match with Taker and Goldberg, I was like, I don't want this.
One thing that really made me upset recently, and I kind of blocked it out of my memory, and I don't want to think about it, but I just want to bring it up because I want to know if people agree with me. But the whole Shawn Michaels coming to retirement for that DX versus Brothers of Destruction thing, if I wasn't the Wrestling Classic and I didn't have that page and all that stuff, I don't think I'd be watching after that because that was
bad too.
That was really bad.
That was disappointing.
But also, based on what your page has become, and now your 3 podcasts that you've had, and now you starting your podcast with Dash Radio.
Yeah.
Question: how has it been interacting not only with not just fans, but wrestlers themselves? And companies, organizations, major organizations. What's that been like for you? You don't have to give me names or anything.
Yeah,
but what's it been like actually interacting with these people?
99% positive.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of them do see obviously a lot of them are thinking from a personal business standpoint too and whatnot. They see the value of my page through the connection I have with the wrestling fans. That is so organic and natural that they would love, like mostly when it comes to wrestlers, they love to work together, try to, do things together because they see the connection I have with the fans and they see the connection I kind of have with the fans that say like a main page for a company can't really have with the fans. Like I'm still answering comments and DMs and whatnot, and I think it's been pretty positive. Obviously I've been given no's for a lot of things I've wanted to do more than I've been given yeses, but I can't really say it's really been negative. They have their reasons maybe that I don't know of, and I know I haven't been perfect the entire time. Like when I didn't know my page had any opportunities stuck to it, I would do some crazy things. But it's been mostly positive. The wrestlers have been the best though. Like I think the wrestlers that follow and support the page have always been super genuine and willing to help out or help promote or whatever it is or do things together. But with the promotions, it's a little iffy sometimes.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean,
when it gets past the wrestlers too, I like to just call them the suits. It kind of gets a little lost in translation.
Well, especially
who this guy is and what is he doing, and we don't get it.
Yeah, and you have so much. I mean, WWE is such a conglomerate at this point. Their hands are in everything, and AEW is they got their Turner contract, so that makes it a little more real as well. Yeah,
and the first time I talked to AEW people, it's like they already kind of knew they had their team,
Yeah.
Like we're kind of working, we got our little family. I'm like, that's cool. But if you guys need anything, let me know.
Being from Canada, I've gone up to Canada a couple times to do comedy clubs and stuff, and I was in Calgary one time, and I made it a point to make a trek to the Hart House.
Oh, sweet.
Just to get a picture in front of the Hart House, just because I thought that was...
The Hart family is the best.
Yeah.
That entire family. From top to one. They've been nothing but supportive since day one. Brett was one of the first people to rep the merchandise, They've been super cool the entire time. And the cool thing about Brett, I'll tell you a quick Brett story. When I went to go meet him, when I was like 6 years old, biggest Brett fan. I used to walk around the playground with my thumbs in my front little belt thingies, like, you know what I mean? Like Brett, telling people that they screwed me. But the coolest thing about Brett is that, so I went to go meet Brett when I was 6, and I was with my brother. I think it was like at a Dunkin' Donuts or something. Yeah. And I cried so much because he was like my hero, and my mom was like holding me, and I'm like, I didn't even meet him properly. Like he signed my thing, I got it. Like didn't even like take a picture with him. I was so like stressed out. I don't know why. I was 6, can't go back in time and think. But the coolest thing that I always think about that, when I really realized Wrestling Classic was this cool thing that like I never could imagine, was I went to WrestleMania in New Orleans, and due to circumstances, like I was supposed to do one thing, it didn't work out, so I ended up at WrestleCon, and I was kind of disappointed about it because I thought I was going to be doing something else that was super cool, but it fell through, and someone was trying to help me get it done, but it just didn't happen. And I go to WrestleCon, and I'm like, hey, well, I'm here, and like I might as well just meet some wrestlers and do the thing, and I just happened to be wearing a chalk line jacket from WrestleMania 13 of my favorite match, Austin and Brett.
Mine too.
And just standing in line, didn't even think about it. And the guy's like, oh, are you going to get that signed? It didn't even click in my head. I'm like, oh, I probably should. That's a great idea. Yeah. And then I took it off, and Brett walks by. And now we're at a point where, obviously, once again, repping my own merch, being bold, and he noticed my shirt right off the bat. He's like, why are you standing in line? He grabbed me, took me to the front, sat me down.
Wow.
And we were having a conversation. Like, he already knew who I am because I'm friends with his kids now. When they come to Vancouver, we all hang out and stuff. So he's like, yeah, last time Dallas came there, he had a great time. He said, da, 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 da. And I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, yo, like, that's crazy how life went from me crying, meeting this guy.
Did you ever tell him that story? That I was you that little kid crying in Dunkin' Donuts?
No, to him, like, knowing who I am.
Who doesn't
knowing
cry
who
at Dunkin' Donuts at least once?
Knowing who I am by name and, like, trying to spend extra time with me. Like, they tried pulling the jacket away from him. He's like, no. And he wanted to write more on it and stuff. I'm like, I walked away. I'm like, yo, that's so crazy.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. Well,
You know?
your page is, your page, your podcast, I mean, they're blowing up. So
Yeah.
it's awesome that
Appreciate
you're
it.
doing it, and I'm really excited for the new show on Dash Radio. You're heading back up soon?
Heading back to Vancouver on Sunday. I'm definitely going to be back down here sooner than I was. I came here in 2018. I stayed here for like 4 or 5 months. And I went back, and the plan was to come back, and I didn't come back for like a year and a half. So when I came back this time, everyone's like, "Oh, you're here!" Like, da, da, da. I've been pulling in all different directions, and it's been nonstop.
Well, glad we were able to get you on the show,
Well,
man.
I appreciate
really,
you guys having me on the show.
And
Yeah,
keep us posted on everything that's going on with the Wrestling Classic. We will
for
make sure we
sure.
post it out.
Thank you.
Make sure you follow Justin at TWC Worldwide on Twitter. What's the Instagram? Just the Wrestling
Just the Wrestling Classic.
The Wrestling Classic, and check out the new podcast that's going to be on Dash Radio. When does that
show.
start?
It's the first episode for Dash. We're actually 31 episodes in, and I will be posting the episodes later on iTunes and Spotify still. And if I go back to Vancouver when we find another studio, we'll be posting it back on YouTube again. But for Dash, the first episode drops Saturday. It's going to be airing every Saturday on Dash Radio, so you can listen to it on the website or you can download the app. I strongly recommend downloading the app. It's really cool. There's a bunch of music and stuff on there as well, commercial free. But I'll be on the talk station, Dash Talk. It'll be airing Saturdays at 3 p.m. Pacific time, so 6 p.m. Eastern time. And then it will be re-airing on Dash Radio on Thursdays and Fridays.
Well, congratulations. Looking forward to how everything else in the Wrestling Classic is going to blow up.
Thank
man.
you. I appreciate
So,
it. Thanks for
all
you
right.
guys repping the gear every once in a
Oh,
while.
yeah.
Here.
I love the shirt.
I rocked
I
the shirt
sent you guys some
yesterday, man.
shirts. I see it on every once
Oh,
in a
love
while.
it,
And I'm
man.
like, oh, this is sweet.
We'll keep it
Awesome.
going, man.
I appreciate
All
that.
right, guys, we're going to take our last break of the day. When we come back, I don't know, we got some stuff.
Florida Man Friday.
Oh, my God, it's Florida Man Friday. How did I forget that it's
Yeah.
Friday? Well, that was going to be brought to you by 5 Hour Energy. Guys,
Right.
we'll be right back right here on the radio.com Sports Digital Network.